In 1984, two New York-based photographers, Henry Chalfant and Martha Cooper, had a book published by Thames and Hudson. The book was called Subway Art. Subway art went on to revolutionize street art, youth culture, graphic design, and heavily influenced the art world forever. With the book selling over 4 million copies worldwide, Subway Art has now been republished to celebrate its 25th anniversary. Code Emphasis met up with Henry Chalfant at the Black Rat Gallery for an exclusive interview.
When I first did the book was very exciting because we were working, Martha and I were working together, and we wanted to have, to have our own way of getting up, right? And we thought our photo book and a published photo book would be the way of doing it. We had no thought or no anticipation of so many people would end up wanting to have this book and would be influenced by it. No way. Martha said, oh, normally a photo book, they won't sell more than 5,000 copies. But she said, I'm just happy that we have a published book. And I said, yeah, me too. You gotta realize that back at that time, nothing like this had happened. There was no vast worldwide graffiti movement, and we didn't have any way of thinking, well, there might be, because it didn't occur to us. This was a local New York thing, and we wanted to show people what was going on in New York, so we did the book. I began to get letters from people around the world saying, I'm a writer, thank you for your book, it inspired me, look at what we're doing here in, Cape Town or in France, and all over the place, in London, of course. And, I got in contact with, the Chrome Angels, and then we did spray can art. And it's, of course, after that, where it all began was this arterial connection in New York of the subway system of New York, where in a city which was broken apart by gangs, there was the younger generation was traveling around the city and seeing what was out there. And so you had kids from the Bronx seeing some kid from Brooklyn, what he was writing, and there was it was a new community being born. And so that's what's so beautiful. From that, little big city, millions of people a day see your work and stuff like that. This has grown into be a worldwide phenomenon, and it's still got that kind of, we've created a community, it's us kind of aspect to it, which is so beautiful. All my life I've said, I don't have a career, what am I going to do with my life, And I understand that I've had this incredible influence, with this book. Martha and I did this book, and it's had this, unbelievable influence. And so I can feel nothing but amazement and pride, great pride. And it's been a ticket for me to so many worlds. I mean, believe it. I can go to any city in the world, and if I have, a connection because of the book to somebody, it opens up to me, It's the best kind of, the mayors used to give out the key to the city. I have a better one. It's gone through waves upon waves of technical improvement, virtuosity, and nostalgia for the past, which has thrown it back into, well, let's do some soulful Bronx pieces from the 70s, and then builds up again to virtuosity and unbelievable technique. You realize that the kids who are doing this are now 40 and 50 years old, and soon, if they're not already, they have the levers of power, and it's going to change, and this will be acknowledged as for the importance that it is. On one occasion, I went to Sutphin Boulevard, which is a layup underneath the streets in Queens, with a bunch of writers, and they said, "Henry, we're going to do a Henry piece," and they made an outline for me. And they had me fill in, and it was drippy, it was awful, and I realized that, you know, some of us, you know, could dedicate ourselves to learning to do something, but I was doing something else. And I said, okay, I'm taking pictures. I'm not going to become a great writer. Never. So I never tried it again. It's hard. Factories have been built. Workers have been put to work to produce paint for graffiti artists, which is one of the wonderful things. Another wonderful thing that has happened is cops say graffiti is an entry-level crime. You start graffiti and pretty soon you'll be, you know, mugging people and then you'll be burglaring. Well, in fact, it's a path to a career. And I've seen that on so many occasions. In fact, the majority of people have learned from their love of graffiti how to work with enthusiasm, how to dedicate yourself and diligence, and you know, they've had to learn all these skills in order to do it, and they carry that on into their future life. I documented 77 to 82, which is like the golden age. I acknowledge it, but in a way, and this is a very subversive thing to say, 73 to 75 or 76 may be the part that most excited me, and before I took pictures, because most of the experimentation is going on then. It hadn't yet set into, this is what it is. It was still, let's try this. And some wild and crazy idea would come out on the train, and it was wonderful. It was, you know, not consolidated into a form yet. It was like this wild experimentation, and I loved that period. But listen, I have to go. Thank you.
Henry, thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you later, Henry.